Baniriza nze Sirwada Williams Mukisa gwe mmanyi nga Selector Williams Live Uganda ku across.com YouTube channel wetwogerera ensonga nyingi nnyo ezikwata ku music as an art n'olunaku lwatu tuze tubeereko ensonga zetwogerako era mwebale nnyo abatugoberedde sofa mulaba tukyatandika mpola naye tulaba nga channel eno wetulina okusinziira okwogera ebintu bingi nnyo ebikwata ku music as an art mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala leero nziza okwogera ku nsonga nyingi nnyo ennaku z'omwezi 2 ez'omwezi ogwa olubereberye gwa 2023 kitegeeza nti omwaka 2022 twagumazeeko twebaza Katonda nti tukyali balamu. Thank you very much for always following us, and we thank God as well for keeping us alive and for the gift of life. I understand we have found challenges while in the other year 2022, but we have been able to come out at least alive still, and we pray for whoever has lost their beloved ones nti kitalo nnyo abasanze okusomozebwa okwenjawulo, kitalo nnyo abafunye okusomozebwa nga kuli mu music industry in particular, namwe kitalo nnyo. Nnaku lwa leero nange nziza okuwa endowooza yange ku ndongo nga bwetambudde mu 2022 era nga ekisookera ddala njagala kusooka kwogera ku ffenna olukalala lwe tugoberera buli mwaka bwe gujja. Wabiro chibaita Bebe Cool list. Is it worth talking about? Yes, it is. Bebe Cool is one of the artists who have worked for who they are, and is a person who has taken this industry or in the Ugandan music industry, and is a big brother to many and a legendary person in as far as music as an art, as a business, as a talent docket is concerned. So has more authority to come up with such a list, and I understand not many people will appreciate his efforts, especially when it comes to this list, but to me I'll commend him. Yes, I'll commend him for always taking time to compile this content, and a unique thing about his list is the commentary and remarks that which are attached to each number or each outline or each bullet of an artist with their song or songs. Nti Bebe Cool ekyenjawulo kyakola kikyokujja nti wamala okugamba nti njogera ku Fiki ne White Bender, he will attach a commentary, which most of us don't do. For us, we just do listings and we bullet and say number 1 song is so and so, number 2nd song is so and so. Being a list of end of year, he gets enough time to at least compile the songs, the music, and put a little remarks of analysis and commentary. So it's commenting, and without going into commenting, dropping comments about the list with unconscious bias, unconscious bias kwe kugamba nti Bebe Cool talina kyatugamba, Bobby Wine talina kyatugamba, Chameleon talina kyatugamba, Selector talina kyatugamba. You need to give people a chance when and appreciate when there is need. So it is worth talking about, and I wouldn't be here talking about his list if it wasn't having any substance. When you read through the list and the commentary around the songs and the artists, Olabanga, he takes in time, invests time to do the analysis. Actually, even the previous 2 lists, yakitandika humbly. Actually, I'm not here to blow a trumpet for him, and I'm not here to kind of do public relations for the list he did or he compiled or him as a music artist. I'm kind of being objective enough, and you will realize that even recently Bebe Cool ne Selector badennyote balima nnyo nakambugu. So I'm kind of objectively coming togamba nti yalidde kubanga of course enjogera ya Uganda yalidde kati yamulabye muno nze okujogerako, because I would choose to keep quiet. Nende nsobola okugamba nidda bwabanga agikoze lwaki nsinze nagikoze. No, it is worth talking about. Among other things I'm supposed to talk about today, and as far as our industry of music in Uganda is concerned, is this list, and I'll do it fast. He said that the numbering of the artists with their songs does not necessarily matter or mean anything in as far as who is the first, the second, and is. But I'll tell you personally that conflict of interest will always lead him to who is the first person to talk about. And I understand maybe ayinza okuba navayo n'agamba no, it is regardless of whether so and so is in number which one ze sifuddeyo ku ebyo, but it matters. Yagambye Grenade Official yamutunuuliddeko nnyo nga artist alina byakoze mu 2022 era n'asonga ku nnyimba nga Babandana, n'asonga ku Picha, Mbuzi n'Ente. Actually, mostly personally, I'll focus so much on Picha, where he does it with Pinky and Babandana. Briefly, just like Bebe Cool said, not many people will come and grow organically, gradually, just like this guy has done, or has been able to achieve the things he has been able so far to achieve in the music business. Grenade ze nabane issues nyingi nnyo, especially the love stories around him. Naye okubeera n'obusobozi bambi obumala ne buvaayo now standing out in the industry that is busy with havoc issues of politics, many politics in the music industry, a lot of politics in the music industry, nga bemumanyi, na coming out, na standing out. Because like I've always told you in many videos I put here and on TikTok or elsewhere online, is that you don't come with words, verbal attacks to push away artists already established at least, but you can only erase them, in your opinion, that is if it is what you want, by producing good work, and work with substance, work with value, content with meaningful substance. Grenade y'omu ku ba artists abali mu Uganda alina stories interesting. I remember one time they said yajja ne Chameleon bw'oba n'amugamba tugende banywa obunguze enkoko, oba yatuuka eno enkoko n'ebaaki, ate nagenza okulira ne Bebe Cool naye ng'agamba ate Grenade bayamulabako somewhere, ate nalabako akafaananyi ka Grenade ng'ate ali ne Davido. So ayinza okuba omwana oyo yabadde around ndongo, but what I appreciate about Grenade Official and the music he has been able to produce, kwe kuba nti much as the guy has had stories, love stories of a relationship with Zari, his relationship with whoever, yamala na refocusing on music. Yeah, so that is a plus for me. Bebe Cool yawandiseeko commentary we ne remarks, osobola ogenda ku Facebook page ye eri official n'okebera n'olaba. There is Mudra in number 2. Of course, Bebe Cool disclaimed and was like, numbers don't matter in as far as this list is concerned. So when I say number 2 and Grenade being in number 1, I disclaim also, or I drop a disclaimer of the numbers according to Bebe Cool don't matter. It does not necessarily mean that when I say number 2, the artist number 2, numeric gundi ezo. So there is Mudra, Oyimba Ayi, Neshiba. Actually, where I mostly, and why I mostly agree with Bebe Cool, because Bebe Cool's opinions on this list are equally my opinions. So it is not that I'm talking about his, or I'm commenting about his list because gundi ze opinions ze ne interests ze zafaananye zange, and not because he even consulted tanan consulting kana kola na list yakoze byo nene ntukese nga nzikanya naye. So Babandana ne Picha ezo nyimba zaliko emirundi mingi nnyo ku list yange ya countdown jenkola on a weekly basis, Mbuzi n'Ente lwe lutaliko. So when we go to I ne Balo ezo nyimba nazo mbadde nziteeka countdown yange. So Mudra, we remember him coming out, blossoming, germinating during COVID-19. We remember many artists came out during the coronavirus disease pandemic. Not many have survived up to this time. And if a person is able to up to now release songs that can catch the minds of Ugandans, and especially the media people, and up to a big brother in the industry, because Bebe Cool, you agree or not agree, is a big brother to many in the music industry of Uganda. He's among the big brothers of the industry. So I agree that Mudra is worth talking about. Yes, music wabo Bebe Cool what dance. Not everyone can appreciate such music. So omwana oyo bw'olabanga azina ayimba yatandika n'ennyimba ze ziri ayamudemu yaayo n'ebirala, lala okuba ebintu bye ne bijja ne bikola sense. Oluyimba Ayi gamba ayinga balina Shiba. To me it is a good song, and as far as the docket eyo gye bayimbiramu eri concerned, era n'oluyimba barobaro n'olulukoze, especially for the niche the target audience is focusing on. It is a good song in that regard, because when you're choosing or selecting the best songs, you also have to consider the kinds of multitudes of demographics these people are focusing on. You cannot say it is not a good song just because you don't like it, because you're not the target audience, because the age group the guy is focusing, you're not among such a demographic. As an analyst, ojayo n'ogamba nti okay, nze luyinza okuba mudra balo siina nnyo nkyo kyendufuna, but according to the target audience and the kind of music the guy is doing, the genre fits the target audience. So I'll agree with Bebe Cool okulaba nti mudra is worth mentioning, and it is a motivation. I hear people saying, on many occasions I've disagreed with Bebe Cool and we have clashed, and we have you will call him and he's not willing to pick, but with no unconscious bias, I'll say a good thing he has done. So Guruned Negundi Nemudra bajja kubeera motivated nnyo because a big brother has dropped offered them a nod abavunamidde n'abaga yes. So I agree with Bebe Cool on Mudra. Azawi songs like Maje and Bamutu Tedda were among the songs I put on my list on several occasions, week in, week out. Azawi is, with no doubt, is one of the greatest artists, talented songwriters, vocal artists, stage performers Uganda is producing of recent. So are worth mentioning, and consistently I'll appreciate Bebe Cool nti Talonze, in my opinion, he may have had a team around him while compiling this list. Niba gezezaako ku appreciating the new generation. Yes, which is very important. Nti tamaze gagamba nti Misachi, Bebe Cool, Bobi Wine, Chameleon. Kinsanyusa nti nga bwe mbadde nkigoberera n'abalala nga bwe badde bakigoberera, ogenda okulaba nga if Grenade is there, Mudra is there, Azawi is there, the industry only needs to handle these talents. Their management just need to draw the demographics or modalities of nurturing more these artists okulaba nti babeera better. Nti ojja kweka nga ti bwe tuba tulina Mudra nga tulina Grenade nga tulina Azawi sofa abo basatu, in years to come Bebe Cool nga aranze okubeera mu ssente ze nabo ba Misachi, ba Bobi Wine, ba Chameleon, ba Maddox, tujja kuba tulina at least people who will come and fit, they'll land and fit in their shoes, batutambuze batubeezeewo batambuze abantu abalala banaabeerawo. Azawe ali talented, I strongly agree. Naye tulina okukimanya nti bingi ebisobola okukuuma from 2021 when Azawi came up to the next 20 years. Era ebiseera ebisinga issues zetufuna with the new artists, when they drop a hit song, they think by default they are legends, they are stars, that they can stay for years. No, a hit does not necessarily mean that you were a legend there and then and you can stay for years. No, there are many factors that can make an artist stay for some time, and I just pray that Swangs Avenue lays the right strategies regarding how Azawi can stay for some time. But I'll commend Swangs Avenue and Azawi so far for the work done, and Bamutu Tedda, Fafa and Maje are songs on point, and I agree with Bebe Cool on this. Of course, the boy so turned on every girl's agenda Wyke Benda. Mujukira Wyke Benda fena tumumanyi yajja ne Farmer remix with Shiba Karungi. Actually, I wanted and still want to commend Shiba and her team when it comes to appreciating and collaborating with artists. Okubawa that helping hand. Shiba is like Bebe Cool. Yes, Bebe Cool bino byonna birala byonna byo ebiri bye tusobola clashing. Naye I understand we need to. I have a question on my prep. whatever is does whatever Bebe Cool say not right. Buli kyayogera kyonna kifu. Buli kyonna kyayogera kifu. No. Let us appreciate the fact that Bebe Cool yawa collaborate na Makula. Bebe Cool yawa Irene Ntali collabo yamuleta. Bebe Cool yawa B2C yawa abantu bangi nnyo. Necessarily ne collaborations zakoze zinze kuba size zirese some artists, but we appreciate whichever artist that will come out wholeheartedly and with all their abilities to support a rising artist, or that they can make it to at least a certain level of progress. So Shiba, I appreciate you. Nti management yinza okuba naye badde solo kyogera that way, but gwe n'ogaana n'ojjanga oyimba toyagala, but remix ya Farmer Shiba gye yakola ne Wyke Benda yamu ushering well into this industry. But again, the guys so tender on every girl's agenda, you're working hard. Narango kunoonya bwayita omujjukira oluyimba Eva n'endala zonna ezamuleta, then later on had a soft soca zouk, that is Superman, paka olwale bwe tumulabye abaddewo nga survivor. You know, you don't need to run to the top. You cannot. Abantu abasinga okuba abaddusa abazibu ennyo si be bano abadduka, in my opinion, abaduka 100 meters 200 meters relays izo naye bano abantu abaduka emaili nnyingi abo kumanyira omuntu nti muddusi, because ekiddusa emisinde egyo n'oziwangula oba ekigisalawo, in my opinion, is mind set and strategy. Calculations, tactical calculations, mindset and strategy. Nti odduka n'obala n'ogamba nnyina kutandisa maanyi gano bwe ntuuka mirundi bwe giti mbeere bwe nti, so that by the last lap ndi able to reaccelerate nsinga abalala oba mbeere mu a certain position. So there are survivors in the industry and I love their art when it comes to that. Abantu nga Chris Evans, Wyke Benda, just babeera wawo nga batalina maanyi, but they are powerful in their own ways. So Wyke Benda is like that. Is one of the brands we have. Ajja ayambala bulungi, abeera clean. It counts. I went on Talk and Talk one time when I was hosted. Nengamba Bebe Cool manyanyirira alabika bulungi, kati paka panjeereza ba Talk and Talk. Tine tukuleetera Bebe Cool nakolema okuba n'owaana muwaane. But that time Bebe Cool had just rebranded and had put on good body shape. The texture and structure mattered and still matters right now in the music industry of Uganda and across the board, across the globe. Nti Bebe Cool abakusigala nga tasobola kufiitinga mu Bruno K. Bana mibiri gy'abana abaana ba Mr. Bobby Lash singa atulabako nga jjajja naye still has the structure. I understand there are artists who don't need structures according to their brand approach and trademark images and etc. Like Jose Chameleon, his kind of brand is like, I am the one who is here. I am who I am. Appreciate me the way I am or not. But Bebe Cool, I've always said that is the king of show business in Uganda. On top of the likes of Wire, Easy, Party Time, ayina okuteerako nkuliyo, ayina okuteerako business ya show business oyo omubiri. Kati ebiseera ebyo gayi bali bakava mu tubonga naawe ba artist bona bali mu tubonga naawe nga batadde emitwe mu bisubi bwe bati. And the guy was brave enough to go head on with Frank Gashumba then and was able to bring propaganda of I will be dropping a video each month, and he had dropped songs like Chechiganye and Tata. Kati why not more due recognition then? So when zijide ekyo Wyke Benda okumugeraganya nti yomu ku bagayi ba survivors abazze bwe batyo with their moderate music akuba nakolayo remix nabeeraawo, even is worth talking. Omanyi okukolako commentary okubanga tukwogerayogerako, we first prep. For example, many people have done countdowns at the end of the year, but I'm only talking about Bebe Cool. I first do thorough analysis of who is worth talking about. bwe ntunulira omuntu ng'akoze ekintu ekiri worth, because the analysis ogenda olona yes yataddemu time other than namba emu yegundi so Wyke Benda ebintu bye byakola byagala, so okumulaba mu list wano nga bamwogeddeko oluyimba lwo lwankufiiringa luludde nnyo ku zi countdown and teacher lwatandika recently naye it is a good song, him and Fik Fameka. And I like the fact that Bebe Cool will not come out and is like Fik Fameka is on list, but will instead bring a person who has collaborated with the two artists, that is Chambers and Fik Fameka, namuwa number than bringing Fik Fameka naye abeere ku list ate ne gundi abeere ku list, but afuna omuntu where there is intersection oba omuntu akola ebintu obutabi obukwata to the both artists abatali so worth being on the list n'abaleeta in that way on the list oba ntegerekese. Another person he mentioned is John Black. When John Black came, we all were like, will the deep Balton work, and especially the Balton that is not melodic, because if he was more of a Koffi Olomide or Fred Seruga, we would say okay. If he was a Silver Kyagulanyi, we would say okay, but the guy is coming with a deep voice which is not so into major and ordinary chords or flows. Abantu bagamba wabwabwabwa, and comedians used to drop lines kind of nga bamuyeyereza letugamba maybe touch making, but the guy was or has been consistent, and last year his follow song did well and was worth being here, and on that I will agree with Bebe Cool. According to how music has been moving in Uganda, after Nsimbude, Kenzo also came out with Nsimbude. You know, you reach a stage when an industry and the fans choose to be casual. Somehow people appreciated Kenzo's Zikubebwepa and Nsimbude. So sometimes I'll agree that you cannot fight with fans all the time. I'll agree if Bebe Cool brings Kenzo on this list, because you don't need sometimes to fight with fans. If the fans are like, Eddie Kenzo is on that side of the list and is worth a mention, I'll agree, but in my opinion, again, this year Kenzo needs to be in position to produce more music that is beyond Nsimbude and Izikubebwepa, because Kenzo is kind of past that generation and that category of people who will come with casual music. But like I said, the fans appreciate the kind of music that was able to produce in the previous year. So on this one, I again agree. But again, if you need the analysis, the remarks on the songs, zino zemba jogedeko ugenda ku official page ya Bebe Cool. Chameleon. Yes, Bebe Cool was okay. Remarks is it? It's hard for me to include names like Jose, Chameleon, Bobby Wine in like mu competition weight. Ochiraba nti oba oli awo baba bayiseewo. I agree, but again nange nandisanze ekizibu singa Bebe Cool ya recognize gundi Forever. To me, Forever is my song of the year. Kati obeera between hard rocks okugamba oba yemmuleke musumuse, but people will not be inspired if you don't mention the fact that the guy released the song the bayita Forever. It is my song of the year. So I understand his comment here. Athange ekizibu okuteeka Bobby Wine Chameleon ku list eno, naye ate nze nkikkiriza nti ate era kiba kizibu bw'ojja n'oyogera abalala n'otoyogera Forever, obanga ajja okuwa abaana leeway ey'okugamba maybe bayina the best so far, when the guy in actual sense Chameleon is having the best song of the year, that is Forever. So another person he mentioned, Chameleon, of course, I'll tell you, ayina a unique seat when it comes to music of Uganda and music of East Africa, music of Africa and world music. Not many people are as talented like he is. You play his music, Chameleon yoza nyimba ze, we have talked about many talents Uganda has had, and many talents are still blossoming. Many talents are still coming out, but not many talents will be Chameleon. We have had many people who have come and who are able to say that, oh, Gundi azebambia sounding anga Gundi, hey, Gundi achikubanga Gundi, but Chameleon is unique. I remember even when many people came out to kind of imitate or emulate or do music the way Chameleon does or execute vocal as he does, people have failed just because maybe they don't know what is behind his projections, his rendition, his color of voice, his flow, his production, his approach. Ntitibamanya details ezili chovula, just because people will come out and is like, mwana ngayimba nga Bebe Cool aina bagayi bana baina bibatawa bana. He will come and he has that ask thing of Buju Banton. Naye behind that husk thing or husk tone, he has ability not to go off key, either sharp or flat. What if I to gamba gundi a flat inze. A person can go off key either by flatting or going sharp, getting off the key. The key is B flat, B major, C sharp, or D flat, or E flat, or B key. When is whichever, so you either sharp off the key or flat down the key. Kati, if Bebe, many artists in Uganda bajja trying to imitate people like Bebe Cool, but the guy has the other layer, a later melody. You can listen to that in songs like in Kulio, Waya. Actually, it came out in Agenze, Kasepishi, Simbalala, Love You Every Day, Party Time. Many songs of Bebe Cool where that Go Mama album. Hey, okay, he can be a ragamuffin, he can choose to be a Bogolako artist, can be a Golo Big Size, he can do a Go Mama, he can be Freedom, Africa Unite, he's versatile. So if you want to kind of benchmark and be bumper ku bumper, you need to analyze all those things, how you can beat him up. Kati Chameleon is that unique artist. Go again, you can die. You can die for nothing. Nebakusala emisango ja manslaughter, attempted murder, ne suicide. Emisango julide. If you want to boba wesimba kuba artist ngaba Chameleon emisango esatu yogenda okwekolako. Manslaughter, suicide, attempted murder. Bakutwale mu komera lyabwe. So again the guy mentions Spice Diana. And recently Spice Diana has Sidejula. During the year, she released the song Bode with Nice Henry. Yes, actually also a person who is good at laying his strategies or placing his buttons right, or placing and pressing them right, or kuziteka our buttons of the placing or the pressing right is Nice Henry. Awandiko buyimba ngabulyawo wakuzanyirira naye nga bulina melody. So we'll come up with Banange, Manya Bode. Banange is white band alongside Lydia Jasmine. But this Bode, Nisenre and Spice Molida no Gambanti, Nisenre is a survivor. It is an artist that you need to appreciate year in, year out. First of all, has that up hand or arm, being a songwriter. If you're short of soul music, you need to go back and look for crafts by Nice Henry. Or Dainogamba can know Nice Henry somewhere, and you listen to things like Twasusanga Menvu, Chofola Batwano, Uganda, yes, Uganda has songwriters. Katibuulira y'ebintu ng'ebyo uyu mwana Nice Henry wakabi ayina ebintu bingi byatadde mu industry eno ebimufuula one of the greatest songwriters. However, sometimes he writes songs and give them to wrong people. Nice Henry, at least you can lose that money. you have recently written to 2 artists where I felt like the songs were good but for wrong artists. Ate nawandiika ebintu bye bibanga byakusaaga but akukuba line ya twasusanga menvu kyova olaba twanoga and you're like omuntu asusa amenvu gamubuna omubiri maybe but ajja kulyako. That's being humorous. So City Regular is a good song where you hear Spice singing. People will say abo bagayi batugamba kakati ife bade tuli bakabe kakati nga ya Bebe kula imbalaga nga mugamba wakabe bibebe kulu bino bibobi wine bi Chameleon bibabuzabuza ne artists like Shiba bajja kubuzabuza. Shiba asobola okugenda n'ayimba nkwataako onywezaako. Actually that is a mellow song, a mellow kubeera soft. Ajja kujja ayimbe bairamosi baby kwata bulungi, but has some songs like Mamiyo. You'll listen to singa uliza rendition ya Harmonize akola Mamiyo jja kugamba kati Shiba waliwo ennyimba ze bamuwa to sing gwe noddeyo n'ogamba she doesn't have a good voice but has good songs that people can relate with, because most of the time when we want to sing along the songs produced by artists, we want to relate with melodies, especially in the ordinary or major key chords. Mujukira mami mugambe, that is Shiba, no, Bebe kulu bamugambe, walwa kalala bakani. I know muntu ntubwayimba obunfuula a serious person. I saw his analysis kuluyimba nga kapate tuyimba ki ennyama egumba eritali mu nnyama oba ennyama etali mu gumba. Bebe Cool was truthful and nagamba nti there are songs you cannot play on radio, on a breakfast radio show and on a prime radio show. So kati bano bagayi bafulumyanga n'afulumya boggolako, but he's having a soft song that can play in normal programs or in normal programming. Chameleon will come and he's like mimiri, but in the morning they are playing basimo genze ulimbo olugamba abantu bane lwaki temwagala kutusiima addeyo ayimbe bayuda reggaeton dundu, but he's having valu kati strategy ye eremesezza abantu bangi nnyo okukuba layini y'abasajja basatu. A person who has Go Mama album, you go and listen to Go Mama album and listen to The Exodus by lwakuba kati mwenyumya bino awo Jenkins ng'agamba bannange omwana selector bw'ali atama awo nga ne Sendi agamba ndidde nga Kasuku agamba ndidde byonna nga bifa, but I am trying to be objective and I am focusing, actually I'm drawing influence from Bebe Cool's list to give my analysis and end of year remark regarding our industry as Uganda, in as far as music as a talent, music as a business, music as a career be concerned. City Regular zizimu ku nnyimba ezireeta Spice Diana okumachiwalinga. Biye ebirala byonna asobola bikuba, but it is until when she releases a song like City Regular and I'm like, okay, she can't sing. Is one of the artists we have in Uganda who can sing and lead a backline. Mufunzo kuyimbira ku byuma mugamba asobola okuyimba ku live, because singing and leading a mid-range of background vocals and backline where you have jazz drums, congas, you have lead guitar, that is bass line, and lead of 6 wires, and a mid-range of rhythm guitar, you have 2 keys, a vamp of ocarina and whistle, you have some Galaxy piano, bright piano, you're having a warm pad, you're having bichi. No biyimbira kubiba bingi ebyuma ebyo kyobula ebisinga abangi biba confusing oli mu kuyimba, but if it is Gargamel, Ronnie ali mu keys is having a kogo key akuba ebintu bingi nnyo ate they having this tom kit waliwo kana ka drum kit ke baleetaako ate waliwo ali ku jazz kati ate waliwo akuba gita ekyo kyekiri okuggyako abantu, and the person to make matters worse is rolling small charger, small pin charger oba mad dog oba yellow jerrycan goes off the backline. But Spice Diana, I saw her, was it end of 2021 or 2020, we are having a production yali ne bawuma aboba ne bakuba, and she was on the machines rightly, nasobola oku appreciating and respecting the backline. Spicy Diana ezimu ku nnyimba olwaki muyita bwe ntyo because alina obuyimba bwe mwe yagambiranga Spicy Diana. So I recognize the fact that she's able to execute and deliver in songs like City Regular, and the song is kind of having a hook which is taking or motivating people to sing along, and she's having many songs that draw people to the dance floor, those are to the dance floor manyi n'oluzungu lwammulu lusumbuwa nnyo. So City Regular ne remarks zonna ezimuliko, Spice Diana bw'abeera strategic enough will be able okwesimattula ne yeesuula mu bashima ne barema. You know, there are challenges when it comes to who belongs where, and as far as Tadomu being a celebrity, being popular, being famous, being a legend, being a superstar, being an icon, being an idol, being a diva, be concerned. Being popular, omuntu owetutumu; being famous, omuntu omumanyifu; being a celebrity, omuntu omuganzi. Kati ebintu ebyo biki, being a star, being a legend, a story that people can read and be motivated alongside inspirations. Ebintu ebyo bingi kyobola nti whenever I go into depths z'ebyo ng'owulira bikutabudde omutwe. Yensonga lwaki artists like Bebe, Chameleon, Bobby Wine, Maddox, Africa Band, Mr. Kisimakula bakulema okutuukako. Who they are come from ebyo byenjogera ebiringa ebitakwatagana. Bayinza okuba babigendera oba tebabigonderera, but they kind of work hard, and work hard does not necessarily mean that you will wake up every morning and run 100 kilometers or miles. You just lay your strategies, and I'll tell you that having a good voice is a story of its own, but knowing how to sing is also another challenge. You can have a good voice, but you don't know how to sing. You know, eddoboozi eddungi naye tomanyi kuyimba. It happens. Olina eddoboozi eddungi tomanyi kuyimba. Simple as that. So these people, mbadde nkugamba ku kya talent. You may be talented, naye you don't have ability to be tactical, be creative. You are not able to employ right approaches in order to deliver rightly. Ulina talanta, yes, naye omuntu ali tactful, ali creative, yabeera ne ability okuwininga publics and the media. That's why I normally tell artists that you should pray to God and play your game right in order to win the two. Pray hard, as in Sarah, and play right to win the two. When you win the two, okiwangudde, it is hard. Kankiddemu. Olina okusaba ennyo, n'ozannya bulungi, okuwangula abawagizi bano ne emikutu egitutumula. Nkikunnyonnyole ntya. When it comes to the publics, waliwo abatakuwagira, waliwo abakuwagira. So play with them well. Kyebavala bakiyita public relations. The relationship you have with the publics, the people. Among them you have the fans and the people who will diss you because you're not their artist. Your relationship with the media becomes the media relations. How you relate with the media, houses, platforms, print, that is the electronic media, radio and TV, print, magazines, tabloids, and etc. There is this online, and on the other side there is digital. Engeri gy'okola relationship nabo esobola okukuyamba okubeerawo, but it is all about how you pray hard and play right. Bikalu byemu mathematics atuuseemu mu ngeri ya chemistry y'okubalansinga equation ate nga gwe ku lubaawo girabe balansinze. But I'm not here to lecture anyone. I'm giving my opinion and drawing inference from this list of Awanu Bebe Bantan owa Zuwena abeera akayana ne selector all the time n'agamba omwana oyo njagala nkubuulire ja mwana oyo. Yes, another. So Spice Diana mbadde ntuuse ku point eri ya okwesika okwekuba wali Shiba ne Rema. There is a big debate about who Shiba is and Rema. And ability Shiba era Bebe Cool mentioning ekintu ekirala kyeyagambye nti Shiba alina okwefaako ennyo because media Bebe Cool agimanyi. Shiba okubuuka awo waali because a question is always posed that why is it always these people pogera men naye nga tulinawo ne Shiba waffe lwaki tebogera ku Leema? Simanyi lwaki ekintu ekyo tukyerabira netubanga buli ssaawa twogera ku the big three and bwe tudda ku side eno twogera Misachi bwe tudda eri twogera but we have had artists like Margaret Nampa, Hadija Namale, Irene Nachito, Catherine Namatovu abo temubamanyi. Kale katwogere ku Annette Nandujja, twogere ku Mariam Dagire, John Dakolia, tubadde nabo Chance Nalubega, one of the greatest executors. Oyo mulabe naawe dduka. Oyo mulabe ndoza I'll get a video to concentrate on her alone, but today I'm kind of telling Spice Diana to be careful. Awo wali asobola okugwa n'ataddangulu. Naye awo wali bali balabe mulabe eri bwe bayise okuyita mu myaka gy'obuwala, being a girl into a lady where Spice is now, okuvaawo n'otukeesa ne baga okay kale Mariam Dagire katumwesonyiwe nanti kati waliwo n'owamawulire waga ngekyamanyi omundagire omukyalo oyo mumuleke bannange Julia na mumuleke bannange okuki aninga ekyo where you no longer need a song okukweyimirira naye nga people like Julia na mumuwa akatebe atuule bannange muswaleeko mami jo wamita mumuwa akatebe mama alima ayimiridde ddala. There you're a mother, you're an inspiration, you're becoming a diva, you're a motivator, you're an example, you're becoming a benchmark. Ebyo byonna babi aninga nga nti a big size ekyakikoleredde ekyokubeera big brother buli sawa agamba soko lumu namusinkana era tukayana bya butakkaanya bwange naye was like ne gwe mwana gwe nkoboolera nagamba how old are you? Actually yasooka ndoza nalowooza banze musinga obukulu ne mugamba nyina ana mugumuze ndaga okay atatenze nyina oba yangamba ana mwe era mba nkusingako. He wants to be the eldest, the elder. Kati kyaki aninza zenga alwana nakyo bageze mutubonga naawe mwe mujemba gabire wano sente Haruna ne bagamba naye naawe nakola ne hijja nagagwe Haruna tuulaawo okimanye nze nga basente kati ekyo nakikolerera nga bula saidi eri Misachi bwakirina ye papa eno so Chameleon waali naye Bebe Cool somehow ajja n'abuutikira industry era olumu tumanyi okubeera mu WhatsApp group ne tugamba kyo Bebe Cool kyayogedde kati kigenda tutambuzaayo emyezi buli bwabula bwati Bebe Cool n'asirika weke nga tubeera awo omujjukira nzikira bisajja bino okumanya binenge gye bifuga industry Kenzo yali akomyawo BET Bebe Cool ne kigamba nze Zowena mmugulira engoye kati wapata ne Bobi Wine n'alumba oba Bebe Cool nti kale oyogera otya manya nti ogulira omukazi engoye ez'omunda bya BET ne tubyerabira so somehow that's why I call him the king of show business. So Spice, I don't know where she is good enough, but tricky. What is tricky? Abalabe from down and abalabe from top. Default balabe of the sukuwagira because mpagira gundi ate gwe govuganya naye. Balabe of I just don't like you. Balabe abajja nga tobagenderedde. Olwokuba Bebe Cool is kale katwogere kuba female fellow artists olwokuba Karoka Sita is working hard as well wekanga byakoze ate bikuba nga tagenderedde kukuba olwokuba Shiba agezaako progressinga further forward byakola bitandika okuba Spice Diana nga Shiba tagenderedde mukuba so Spice byegendereza nnyo. There is Carol Nantongo who is kind of a complicated artist to analyze. Who is she? Is she a rumba, bossa nova and salsa artist? Is she an Afro pop popular style artist? Is she a traditional Afro beat artist? Is she a dance artist just because she released Sirwana with Shiba Karungi? Is she who? Who is she? Why I say? she's vocally talented. She has achieved much by Bebe Cool having her on his list, because Bebe Cool is into Giovanni Luzinda, Henry Mwanje, but a person who has a background of Golden, the New Eagles Cream production, if he's mentioned by Bebe Cool, whose mindset is so much into urban beats, and so but mostly Oliwa is a good song. Kati karo cha ino kola, where we go wrong? Being flexible or dynamic does not necessarily mean that every now and then you need to change your combination or formula. And being consistent does not necessarily again mean that you have to do the same thing all the time. Moyo wa mukama nziseko kanzire ku lubaawo. With branding, laying trademarks, imaging and bichi, waliwo ebigambo byetusange ebitu confusing nga nange mwende. Consistency and flexibility. Awo abatoka ntoko Selector Williams, Calvin Entertainer, Happy K, Douglas Wanga ne ba MC Cuts bagambye tubeere flexible. Kakati ndowooza kanveewa atini ngendeke wa DMS. You're being flexible but stupidly. Kakati nze nga kazibwe kapo bali ba MC Cuts bagambye I should try urban. Kati kanveewa DMS ngole ne digibawa semuleme owedde. Okay, after 5 bwe bakyazza Selector ne James Proper ne babeera kutoka ntoko babadde bagambye okusinziira ku kasuku nti nina okubeera consistent. Kakati nze oluyimba lwange luno leero ndufulumya nga ndutandikidde ku mutwe ate enkya ne nduva ku kyenkira ng'oyimba oluyimba lwe lumu okyusa bigambo owedde. Bino byonna kyova olaba. My question is, whatever Bebe Cool says tekirimu makulu, whatever Chameleon kyayogera tekirimu makulu, whatever Bobby Wine kyayogera tekirimu makulu mu bya music bino, whatever Misa kyayogera tekirimu makulu. Lwaki temubawuliriza? Because bano babaddeyo ate ekibi kye babakola kye batabalabula. Babadde nnyo naffe bakadde oba bannaabwe nti kompeera media bye bagyetisse. Ti Bebe Cool engeri gyali relating oba Douglas Wanga engeri gyali relating ne Bebe Cool egenda deeper than Fiki bwasobola okurelatinga ne Daga. Kakati ate Bebe Cool oba Chameleon bwe bamukyaza ku TV okwo ate you don't want to listen. Because for media kale tuveeko, because for all the time mama batusika batussa wansi mama nfudde depression. But how about singa mbuuza Bebe Cool, how does he survive when all pipes of sound from media are hitting at him? Selector bwe bamukyaza ku TV ne byayogedde ebituufu ku Bebe Cool tebabiteekamu babisalamu era ne bateekamu ekiwulikika ng'akuba Bebe Cool. Bebe Cool tomunenyera yajja gamba Selector tanjagala ne Klebason enkyajja kubira Selector amugambe naye mwe muwulira mutyammwe. Naye Bebe Cool katuyimagine nge Selector akubye Bebe Cool, Kasuku akubye Bebe Cool, Jenkins wa Bebe Sendi akubye Bebe Cool okumala emyezi 3. Enkya bwe banakola analysis gundi Selector akyazizze yeekolera akubye Chameleon ate na editing analekamu ebikuba Chameleon bamukuba. Enkya n'owulira Bobby Wine nga beetwalaganya ne Small Access pa nga tetunnakyamuka. Let us ask the 3 guys, how do you survive? Until you learn to consult with these guys, you cannot make it to the big 3. Just let them be. Beba singo kwa waliyo omuntu gosanga nga waliwo olabanga oganga naye bannange ng'omusajja bamukubye baba. How does he survive and remain a friend to all the media people? Almost all. Nga ne bwaba yafunye misunderstandings ne selector is able to come out and is like, musajja ono yakoze kalisti akalungi. Ebyo omuntu aba alina okulwanagana nabyo n'abitegeera bibeera bitya, be bakalo nantongo be balina okuyiga. How do I become an artist? Most of the artists, some of the artists in Uganda are just recording artists, are just vocalists, some are just performers. They are not. In one of the videos I'll tell you who is an artist, who is a musician. Of course, a musician can be an instrument player. Any person who does something to do with music is a musician. If selector can play guitar, if he can play keys, can write some literature into composition, arrangement, and production, is a musician. A musician is not, being a musician is not being limited to only being a recording or a performing music repertoire. No, si kitegeeza. So Carol Nantongo is a talented artist. Kati yene Judas balina okumanya batunulire ekigambo consistency ne flexibility. Where do we need to be consistent? Where do we need to be flexible in regards to Sasha Vibes versus Norton and George? And as far as Nessim versus Dr. T are concerned, and as far as Miss Henry and Black Skin achali oba Dr. Brain are concerned, okumanya when do I need melodies, when do I need rhymes? Awendo voneta buka Siba Kalungi somehow namogeddeko is among those on the list of One Bebe Bantan. Yamuwaddeko remarks zendowooza nti bw'ogendayo n'ozinoonya nazo zitegeeza kinene, olina ozuwa amatu kuba ziri sensible. But Shiba of course has had relevance in the year 2022. It had worth mentioning. She's one of the hard-working female repertoire performers or producers, or content performers, or repertoire is production, musical performers and recording artists. So ndowooza naye ali worth mentioning, but at a stage of challenge. Wali awo wazibu because otuuka n'ogamba akola ekikyobola nsanyukira nnyo abantu nga Chameleon at a time when we are like there was a Chameleon atuwadde enough tubikkeko baaliwa baterendere. People will come out and maybe baaliwa is saying oluyimba lwa Museveni lwa Kalango buuza sentamu lwa Bobi Wine. Kati n'abalekaawo naye ate ffe abali b'endongo ne tugaa tugende wamama naki tunywe kwete oba twambuke waggulu tugende ku Red Bull, ku John Walker Red Bull oba Black Label, Red Label oba Black Label. Kati such an artist who drops a song and one version is by Pademand and a better version comes out, or another version he chooses to be better, is from Diggy Bauer. Baaliwa n'akikuba and in a pop dance style. Ekyo kikulu abantu bangi nnyo tebategeera busajja buno gye bukola. Snares eziri clear and a dance kit for a kick. A dance kit eyo baroni on this one babimanya aba brand beats. Waliwo dance kit eyo ebeeramu kick eri empewufuko etali eri hard for pop. Era pop styles ozuku soka afro or apro amanya afro contemporary bwestaba afro kiriki afro pop naye waliwo kirala kyenjagala okwogera. Kati weekanganga musajja yatukuba baaliwa. You need a song, yes it has literature of message, a good literature of message, but when you go into composition and arrangement where you align melodies and rhythms, or kuminding not putting in more much chromatic flows or minor flows. Chovola aba South Africa batukwatanga nnyo because of the basic ordinary scales, progressions of do, fa, do, so, do, fa, do, so. And Lucky Dube was so much into do, fa, so. Back to my roots, maybe like then there is do, fa, so, fa. So you forgive my voice. Chameleon nakukuba baaliwa ngobadde omanyi byonna biweddeyo ne tugamba leero awedde era muganda we najja palaso malamu kofe otyo palaso kati takyasobola Chameleon takyasobola kola ku palaso mumaze naye Chameleon ekirungi atukoledde ekimala, that is okay. Oh yeah, omusajja yakuba oluyimba baluyita Forever. You just play back that song. Technology awo ogambira bannaye byonna mbimusonyiwa oba yankuba y'ekikonde mbimusonyiye ayimba nnyo omusajja. We appreciate artists abatuyambi, our radio stations, our radio shows, our platforms on social media abatuyambi, because we have talked about the same people for 20 years. I've been on radio for 15 years and we have talked about Bebe Kulu, Chameleon, Bobby Wine, Bebe Kulu, Juliana Kanyomboza, Irene Nambiru. We have talked about Manya Maddox, we have talked about Moses abantu batubezeza. And whenever he releases a hit, you cannot play Forever and go to radio and you're seated. Even when you're seated, you're forced through what of force. When people like Chameleon release songs, you can say, "Olwa egoyo, I want to dance." Kati obwongo buno baali babuteeka wano. Brain, soul, the heart bitandika okulwana. Jjukira byebifuga omubiri ogusigadde. Omutima ogundi yegamba, I want to dance. Chameleon yantama. Bebe Kulu simwagala. Bobby Wine yange simwagala. Juliana ya namutama omwana oyo. But when their good songs play, obwongo nga bugamba omutima tuzine nno. Emmeme nga gamba oba kale jjanga agambye tetuzina. Before you know it, the heart, the soul and brain bamaze okwagulunga. Ekigere kyo nga kitandika okunyenya nga okiga tonyenya nga kinyenya. Songs like Forever do leetera the heart, the soul and the brains to agree. Genda okulanga okuba sijja kaaba sijja kuba ntoli. So Chameleon, I commend you as a great artist. Bambi mu buntu bino ebirala tujja netukola comments bambi tugamba oyo gundi Chameleon lwaki bino lwaki biri, but ekyo si bangi abasobola okukikola mu Uganda ne mu nsi yonna. Mike Jackson yakola ebintu bingi, Whitney Houston yakola bingi, Brenda Fassie yakola bingi byamulema, R. Kelly bingi ebimulemye. You can watch that documentary of Surviving Robert Sylvester Kelly or Surviving R. Kelly, just as it is stated, but people still say, whenever I listen to this guy's music, the guy is ikawa. And Chameleon will always win you with his perfect music. So, Oruke said, a man, guy, Kubadoloza, and Yakomia Kubali, want you're thinking Palazzo is taking over. Omusajja nakukuba hit of Camila once. One day we were with Eddie Sandy at Tavern Woods. Nengamba Sandy, tukozeseyo t-shirt tuzeteekako emabega nga ziti konti Chameleon is number one. Kubanga omwana DJ yagenda nakuba oluyimba lulina aluddamu omulundi ogwokubiri Forever, and we were like, bannange nedda, this guy is too much. But it carries a lot of stuff, and I understand it is because of the ability Chameleon has to know what fits his voice. Even when he has some people who will come and be a part of the team that writes the repertoire, melody and rhythm patterns, I understand he is able to understand what fits his voice box. I'm getting wrong when it comes to that thing. I've had young rising or blossoming artists who fail at that. Bo balowooza bitu Bebe koledde ne simu naye alina kukolereyo. However, I understand Bebe Nesimu is among those few producers who are able to accommodate many people or artists who produce different genres of music. Twabadde ku Siba okufuba okulaba nti asobola okuvaawo okuproducing beyond or to go beyond the elasticity of her ability. when did demo Chameleon forever. There is this song Hangover, Rickman Manrick featuringako Rimman singa bikwata bulungi. That's why I'll go back and say that Bebe Cool had conflict of interest while outlining these songs, because remember Rickman comes later and at last Katalea and Kando. So Bebe Cool in mind, willingly or not willing, yaneminze ebintu bina accordingly maybe. Naye Rickman bw'akola obulungi Manrick asobola ye ne gundi gayane ono omulala olw'omuvubuka omulala abamitaani Lucky Joe. One of the artists are kind of laid back, nga singa be putting more strategic and more better in terms of positioning and strategy, basobola okukimakinga more better. So Rickman is that promising rising artist, or I don't know whether he's still rising, but a person who can be more established. Katale and Kando, among artists who came during COVID, I will commend them. Yes, the team has worked. We have had many artists who came during COVID. And one time appearing on Bukede TV with Bate and John Kerr, told them that we have seen these many people coming out as new artists, but not many of them will survive. And of course it goes back to the strategies and plans by their management teams. Yes. So Katele and Kando, but the only thing I don't agree when it comes to their branding is exposing their bodies of privacy. Private parts says, oh, away from that, they are moderate and can make it more better. Netutuuka ku kinyusi. And Bebe Cool was fair enough, okola enough write up regarding remarks and analysis ku nsonga ya King Saha. First of all, I appreciate the two and appreciate Bebe more being a big brother, okuba nti buli ssaawa ajja ne baleetayo controversy ne King Saha n'afuna hit. First of all, mujjukira ebiseera bya Sala Pressure, olimba bulita Sala Pressure, ffe twagamba oluzunguzungu nti Sala Pressure. Bebe Cool yafulumya listi n'ayogera ku by'ebintu by'ebiragalagala, ono n'amukuba mu luyimba. This time era ebintu byabwe byaddamu ebyatulwanya, King Saha came out with Sakayo. First of all, in my opinion, I think King Saha should cease the acts or actions of always attacking Bebe Cool even when the beef is no longer in gear. Zindaba kituse kiseera nga kingi. Bebe Cool is emphasizing that King Saha is abusing drugs. That is subject to screening and the doctors to come out with a proper report about whether the guy abuses drugs or not. I understand people may be able to look at a person and they can tell that someone is abusing what, but let us put King Saha away from this talk in regards to drug abuse and talk about, does Bebe Cool have a point when he talks about artists should stop abusing drugs? Let us put Saha away. In my opinion, Bebe Cool has a point. About King Saha, the matter is subject to screening, as in scanning his body, scanning his organs, and the doctor to come out, tell us whether the guy abuses drugs or not. But I cannot come on camera and say the guy abuses drugs. But again, I've told you that some people may be able to tell from a distance, and like this guy abuses alcohol, they're abusing an energy drink, they're abusing drugs, either cocaine, marijuana, any form of drug. So that is aside. But does this big brother Awan Baby Band Tano Wazwena Mungeria Keke have a point about whether we can fight drug abuse among artists? Yes. Go and search for a man with a golden voice, a guy who was a celebrated radio presenter, the person who did jingles, sweepers, liners, and hour openers for stations like Capital London and many radio stations in New York City. He abused drugs and ended up on streets as a beggar. He was rehabilitated later on and taken back to radio stations, but he abused drugs again and went back to streets. You can go in YouTube and look for that documentary about a man with a golden voice, and you will see how drugs can be dangerous to a talented one. I've first of all listed a radio person so that you can not come out to say that Selector Williams or other media persons who only talk about us, the artists. Another person is Whitney Houston, who lost her life to drug abuse, and later on Christina Brown, a daughter of the same artist Whitney Houston, died. All brought about by the fiancé he came across after the talent search, which took place in Canada, where she met mother of Eddie and Nelson, that is a Canadian one called Celine Dion. Whitney Houston fell in love with Bobby Brown, a person who had already begun kambize mu Luganda abazungu tebampulira Abamerica. Bobby Brown yali tandika doku kozesa ebiragalagala, also attached to that Pablo Escobar cartel yali atambuza ebiragalagala. Those guys used to be in the Bronx in New York near the JF Kennedy International Airport. Cissy and John Houston had misunderstandings, had battles and domestic violence about Whitney Houston choosing to go mainstream. And as far as music as a business is concerned, Whitney Houston used to perform in church in the Sunday school, whereas the mother Cissy used to sing in a choir as a leader in New Jersey Catholic Church. John Houston was like mwala wange tasobola agenda mainstream, and moreover having a relationship of love and intimacy with Bobby Brown. But the lady or woman was following her heart, that is Whitney Houston, but the heart led her into issues of up to losing life and a granddaughter dying. I later on saw Bobby Brown lamenting and crying, depressed and paranoid, regretting the actions of himself and actions of himself leading Whitney Houston into what later on also led to the death of their daughter, on top of Whitney Houston losing life. Another person is Mbongani, who's having a cartel over drug abuse across southern Africa, right from South Africa, in countries like Botswana. Mbongani, son of Brenda Fassie, abadde kuduka. Brenda Fassie, in a documentary on YouTube, you can see her abusing or enjoying different forms of drugs alongside her daughter, her son Mbongani. Many people have abused drugs. We have lost talents of media people, of athletics, people who practice athletics, people who are talented people in all aspects, and in music in particular. But the challenge we have is that we don't know how to approach it, because at the end of the day, you're talking about a person who is followed by many, a person who is celebrated, who is famous, who is popular, who is a people's person. You fail to talk about it. I saw James Proper, one of the people I respect when it comes to these commentaries, saying, I never watched the full interview or video, but it was a headline where a person who uploaded a link said that James Proper says it is Bebe Cool and Chameleon responsible for the death of Moses Radio. And just looking at the headline, I can have a deep talk about that headline, because we fail as big artists, as big brothers, to talk about these things. And even when we come out to talk about it, tusange visible from the fans. Select Williams Live Uganda. You can call me Williams Mkisasirwada. For today, I'll stop at this. The channel is across.com. Mwiraba.